Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Ruth, the 4th chapter. And as we left off in the 3rd chapter with Naomi sending Ruth to Boaz in the threshing floor to basically request, you could say, through customary manner, for him to play play the role of that of the near of kin, i.e. taking Naomi to wife. Upon which Boaz says that there is actually one that is nearer of kin who would have the right to that first. And so he goes to settle that matter before anything else. Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there, the gate being like the entrance, and that in the ancient world, the gate was more than just a just like an entrance to a city. It was where you would have, certain matters would be judged, any public like announcements, whenever there's an assembly that needed to be gathered, that was like the central place for those kinds of things. So he goes there, as it says, and sat him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by. So he sees the relative he was talking about, unto whom he said, "Ho, such an one. Just the man I was looking for. Turn aside, sit down here." So hold on a second. Come, take a seat. And he turned aside and sat down. And it says turn aside because, like, quite literally, if the person is walking and Boaz is like on one side and he calls to him, the person has to actually turn aside to where Boaz is to go and see to why it is he was called. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, "Sit ye down." And they sat down. So he gathered elders. At this point, you have witnesses. You gathered the near of kin. And then now they're ready to conduct this business. And he said unto the kinsman, "Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, Buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people." So he said, Naomi's trying to sell some land, right, which belonged to Elimelech. And so I wanted to first bring it to you, since you're basically closer of kin, to give you the first right to redeem it. And it's kind of similar to what Jeremiah's, I think it was cousin, if I remember correctly, while he was in the prison courtyard, came to him and basically had him buy that field because he was basically near of kin, so it was his right to redeem it. Anyway, then he says here, "And I thought to advertise thee," so basically have you see it first and give you the first pick, saying, "Buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people." So officially and openly, so we have witnesses that, okay, you've decided you're going to redeem it. "If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know. For there is none to redeem it beside thee, and I am after thee." So if you want to redeem it, then go ahead. If not, let it be known so I can redeem it, because I'm the one next in line after you. And he said, "I will redeem it." Then said Boaz, "What day thou buyest the field of the land of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess." This doesn't mean that when you buy the field from Naomi, you also need to buy the field from Ruth. What it means is you got to take Ruth with it. Because if you're redeeming that field, which was like property technically or belonging to Elimelech, you got to take Ruth to marry. Like, you got to marry her as well. And that's why it says the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. So what will happen is if you buy that land, you got to marry Ruth, and when you have children with her, those children would inherit that property, and that way it would stay within that Elimelech's family. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. So the kinsman basically says, no, I can't do it because, he doesn't want to risk it affecting his own inheritance. Because now remember that he's actually paying money for this land. And by marrying Naomi, that's now a second wife, and now he has children with her, right? But his original children, his original family wouldn't inherit that actual property. Okay, it would go to the children he has with Ruth. And Slaki, if I keep mixing the two up, the children he has with Ruth. So he basically says he doesn't want to risk that. He's fine. Boaz should redeem it. Now this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing. So what this is saying is, this was the custom when it came to these matters of redeeming something or changing, as in transferring that right to another, for to confirm all things. So this was what was used to seal the deal. A man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel. So by this near of kin taking off his shoe and giving it to Boaz, that would signify that he is transferring that like right or whatnot that would have gone to him to Boaz to basically, do the job or redeem it. Now reading this in the NLT, it says, now in those days it was the custom in Israel for anyone transferring a right of purchase to remove his sandal and hand it to the other party. This publicly validated the transaction. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe. So the kinsman took off the shoe, sandal, whatever, and gave it to Boaz. And Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, ye are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Chilion's and Mahlon's of the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day. So you're bearing witness, right, that I'm officially purchasing that land. I'm getting that property. I'm also getting Ruth, so I can raise up that name or that seed for the line of Elimelech. All right, as it says, so that the name of the dead, so his line is not cut off from amongst his brethren, seeing that he has no heirs to continue, as his sons were already dead and they didn't have children. As it says, and from the gate of this place, i.e. in the entrance of his hometown, you are all witnesses today. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. The Lord Yahweh make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel, and do thou worthily in Ephratah, and be famous in Bethlehem. So it's kind of like wishing him well, and basically hopefully of this comes a powerful or strong line, like that of Rachel and Leah, as they did for Jacob. And let thy house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, of the seed which the Lord Yahweh shall give thee of this young woman. Okay, so basically, may your house be, and at this time, chances are, like, from that line, eventually, it became strong, right, and successful. So may your line be strong and successful like that of the house of Perez. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, so when he laid with her and popped her, the Lord gave her conception. She became pregnant, and she bare a son. And the women said unto Naomi, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, which hath not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. So the Lord didn't leave you, because if you didn't have one, then that would have pretty much been it. You Your kid's already dead. You're too old to have more. Your husband is dead, and there's nobody else to continue on. And he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life, and a nourisher of thine old age. Basically, this child that you now have would be one to restore that line for you, and to nourish or take care of you. For thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons, hath borne him, which is to say, Ruth, which is your daughter-in-law, which is better than all the sons in the world, hath borne you a restorer of your life and a nourisher of your old age. And Naomi took the child and laid it in her bosom and became nurse unto it. And that bosom is like, when women pick up a child in their arms, yeah, that's her bosom, right? And she became nurse unto it. So she basically took care of it. And the women, her neighbors, gave it a name, the baby, saying, there is a son born to Naomi. And they called his name Obed. Now, of course, the child physically was born by Ruth, but, technically, when they said there was a son born to Naomi, remember that it was it was a child that was to raise up or keep the name of Naomi's husband's line alive. Okay. So technically he would be like her child as well. And they called his name Obed, which is Ibad, meaning to serve. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Now these are the generations of Perez. Perez begat Hezron, and Hezron begat Ram, and Ram begat Aminadab, and Aminadab begat Nahshon, and Nahshon begat Salmon, and Salmon begat Boaz, and Boaz begat Obed, and Obed begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David. And that brings us to the end of the book of Ruth, the 4th chapter, and also the end of the book of Ruth in its entirety. And also the end of the era of the conquest and the judges. And so, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.